and welcome to another reading vlog. This is the last reading vlog for October. Isn't that crazy? Like, October is almost over. And I tried to cram as many spooky books into October as I could. And it's just impossible. There's not enough time in October to read all the spooky books that I want to read. And I want to say, I know my hair is like insanely curly. I did heatless curls and they really need to settle down. But it's okay, because we can read we can read spooky books in November and December and every month. But there's just something about October. I've had such a good time doing these themed reading vlogs, so I want to continue to do some that are like this, where it's like a theme. And this week, we're going to read classics. Gothic, spooky classics. We're going to read 3. I just feel like 3 is the perfect amount for a reading vlog. I will say though, my last reading vlog, I picked some chunky books for that reading vlog. We have some smaller ones for this one, which is kind of good for me. I'm going to start off with Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I'm very interested in this classic. I've heard good things about it. It's a Gothic classic. I think about a widow who marries this woman and the woman goes to live with him, but the widow's wife is like haunting her. I think that's what it's about. I don't know much about it. I'm just hoping I like it a lot more than Wuthering Heights. I feel like every classic now I'm like, is it gonna be like Wuthering Heights? And then I'm going to read Coraline. I'm buddy reading this with my sister. We're gonna start this tomorrow. I want to start Rebecca today just to like dip my toe. I want to like just start the book. This one will then be my main focus starting tomorrow, and we're gonna read this together, so that's exciting. We've had this for I think a year or two, and we're doing it this year. We're gonna read it this year. And I have not read the back of this. I haven't seen the movie, not super sure what this is about, but like a magic doll, a doll that comes to life. And then I'm doing a reread of one of my favorite classics. I'm going to be rereading Frankenstein, and I will be immersion reading both of these, and then Rebecca digitally reading. I might partially listen to Frankenstein because I really love the audiobook that I found for this book. Look, there's like lightning bolts. Big fan of Frankenstein. I loved it the first time I read it, and I also, like, I know that people say that you can just kind of skip all the letters that are at the beginning of the book. I didn't do that. I wanted to listen to the whole thing, and I think I'm gonna do that again. Like, even though I feel like I've just heard people say that like the letters, they're not like necessary, they're not needed for the story, but I still want to listen to them. And I mean, this is a pretty short book. And then I need to write down where and when I read this, like what I was doing, because I wish I had done that the first time I read this. I think I remember, and I want to I can like picture what I think I was doing when I was listening to this, but I should have written it down, and I'm going to do that this time. I want to get in the habit of doing that with my books, because you know, there's so much memory tied into books for me. Like, all of these books, I can like picture where I was when I was reading it, even if I like hated the book. But that's the plan. 3 classics leading up to Halloween, and then I'm also going to do my November TBR in the next few days, like picking out those books. Super excited because I have books I really want to read. And I'm gonna do my TBR game, so I won't be in full control. I was in control for October and September, but I want a little less control for November. I think it'd be fun to let fate decide. So we need coffee. I've been saving my cup of coffee for this afternoon. I'm gonna make a pumpkin coffee with my pumpkin syrup that I made myself, and I'm going to start Rebecca. Just start it. Yeah, I'm excited. Hope you enjoy the vlog, and I'll see you when I have an update. I'm on chapter 7 of Rebecca. I started it last night on my phone, like digitally, and got like 10 pages in. This morning I've been doing a lot of work on my laptop, so I've been listening to it. So far, Oh, I don't even know, what is her name? Ah, okay, so I was thinking, I don't know the name of our protagonist. She's unnamed. I was like, that's why I don't know her name. So our unnamed protagonist is in Monte Carlo with her companion. Her job is to be like a companion to this richer, older, very annoying lady. While in Monte Carlo, they happen upon Mr. De Winter, and the old lady like knows who he is, that he's a widower, that he has this really beautiful house, he's rich, so she kind of like gossips about him in the book. Our protagonist befriends him, they befriend each other, and he takes her out driving and stuff like that. And when she's going to leave Monte Carlo, I don't know why I'm having such I'm having a really hard time speaking. Her companion is going to leave to New York. She's finished with Monte Carlo, and she's telling Mr. Winter, like, I'm leaving, and she's younger than he is, and she feels kind of awkward, but she wants him to know that she's leaving. She has feelings for him. And he tells her, do you want to go to New York, or do you want to come with me to my house, which is called Manderley? That's like the big estate or big house. He's not like terribly romantic about it, but he says like, do you want to marry me? And you can come with me. I would like a companion as well. Like, I know you're a companion to this woman, but I would like a companion. So she decides to marry him. And she's quite a bit younger. I think she's in her 20s, and he says he's like 40-something. And he takes her to Manderley, and right now in the book, she just got there and is meeting the staff, and the staff is kind of cold to her, like the main lady there that takes care of the house. I don't know what to call her, maid, I guess. She's like really cold to her, and she keeps bringing up Miss Winter, the woman that used to live there, and how she would kind of run the house. And you know, our protagonist is not this like wealthy woman. She was a companion. It seems like she has a lot to learn about like running a household and throwing parties and stuff like that, but she's very excited to be married. She already like envisions her kids in this house, and she wants to like do a good job being a wife and running the household. That's where I am right now in the book. I'm thinking the ghost of Miss Winter is going to show up and make her life pretty miserable. I do want to read it digitally, but right now I'm gonna listen and read digitally. I'm gonna do both. And then later today, my sister and I are gonna start Coraline. I told my sister, let me know when like you're starting it, and we'll start it at the same time. And I was looking at just like the format of this book. This is gonna be a really quick read. Like the font's big, and I feel like there aren't like a whole lot of words on the page. I'm really looking forward to reading this. And there are even some pictures, which maybe I shouldn't look at, creepy pictures. But that's my plan for today, to continue with Rebecca. I want to get halfway today. That's the goal, and I think to do that I would have to listen to quite a bit of it. I'm 21% of the way through, and then I'm curious about that book. I'm not bored or anything. And then Coraline, I guess I kind of want to keep on pace with my sister, so I don't really know how far I'll get in this, or like when we're gonna finish it. Like I don't have a set like I want to finish this by tomorrow. And then I'm kind of just transporting Frankenstein from room to room. I'm kind of carrying these with me everywhere. I am drinking my coffee. I usually save my coffee for the afternoon. I'm drinking my pumpkin coffee, and I'm almost out. I just can't find a good decaf. I wish there was a really good decaf coffee. That way I could just drink more coffee during the day. But I've been trying to post, like yesterday and today, more on Pinterest and Instagram. Like I really want to be more present on more platforms. I really like posting on Pinterest, and I think it's because I enjoy Pinterest a lot. Like I love being on Pinterest. There's no, I don't know, Pinterest is very pressure-free for me. If I get on Instagram, then I like compare my stuff to other people's Instagram. Sometimes Instagram can be a little much, and I haven't even gotten on TikTok in months. Well, I guess I did look up a recipe on TikTok, but I haven't like scrolled on TikTok, and I definitely haven't created any content on TikTok in a long time. I feel like TikTok is very toxic for me. TikTok is overwhelming for me, and right now I am not present on there. I do like Instagram, and I just need to be more present on there and not let other people's, the amount of followers that they have or how much content they post on there. I need to not let it like intimidate me, and I just need to just do it. But Pinterest is my favorite, which is probably not the best one, but I don't know. I just love being on Pinterest, so I like posting on there. I think I'm gonna go clean my office and listen to Rebecca and finish my coffee. Maybe eat lunch. That's my plan right now. I just filmed my November TBR game. I'm so excited. Look at all these books. I really like my TBR game. It's fun, and I have a very large stack of books for November. Trying to think of how I can kind of divide these into reading vlogs, because there's like no theme. I need to figure that out. Today was not a good reading day, which is fine. Oh, where did I even put the book? I did not get terribly far in Coraline. I got to my sister's at page 50, so I need to catch up to her. This book only has 150 pages, so we're gonna go through this quick. I'm not trying to rush it or anything. I'm actually reading at a slower pace along with the audiobook than I normally do. Today was just a really busy mommy day. Even doing this little clip, I'm like, I kind of have to hurry. And in Rebecca, I only got to 25%, so I think I only read 5% more from the last time I updated, and nothing new has happened. She's still in the house. She's kind of, so she's meeting the staff and all of that, but she's not taking her role like I am the new woman of the house. She's kind of like, okay, whatever Rebecca would have done, like just do whatever she would have done, because she kind of doesn't know how to like be her own master of the house. She's not really taking charge, and that's just kind of where we're at in the book. Like I said, it's probably not very many pages since I updated last, but I'm going to read up until page 50 tonight so I can catch up to my sister. I also hurt my back. I don't know what I did. My back is like so tight, but that is the plan so far. I'm really liking it, and it's so easy. It's such an easy read, which I think I really needed. Like both Rebecca and this are very easy to digest. I was expecting Rebecca to be like really old English and really hard to understand. And I know it's an older book, but it's so easy to like listen to. It's not a book where I'm like, I have no idea what they're saying because of the English, you know, where you have to like kind of, where just words don't really make sense. And then this was written, in this book, the mom, Coraline's parents work remotely from home. So I was like, oh, I thought this was like an old book. No, this was written in 2002. I don't know, I thought this was like a pretty old book. So I was like, oh, it's like they're working remote. That's not very old. So my sister has already seen the movie, but I think this is her first time reading the book. And I have not seen the movie, and I'm reading the book, and then we're thinking we're gonna like watch the movie together. That would be really fun. But that's the plan. I'm gonna go and read more of this, and I want to try to read more of Rebecca tonight, but we'll see what happens. I'm sorry if you hear things outside. I have my window open because it's actually nice out today. I have a reading update. I finished Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and I thought it was okay. It was not what I thought it was. I ended up reading part of it digitally and then listening to the rest of it. I just have not been able to read as much this reading vlog. Like, I can't believe how much I read last reading vlog. Like, I read so much. And I think it was fine because I listened to it. I think if I read it physically, I would have maybe been, she's smiling at me so much right now. I think I would have been kind of bored. Not a lot happens in Rebecca. It's kind of slow. Our protagonist, who is unnamed, you know, marries Mr. De Winter and goes to his beautiful house, and she just cannot live up to Rebecca. Like, she's so concerned about Rebecca. Rebecca did this, Rebecca did that, and she's very self-conscious about everything she does. She's not sure if Mr. De Winter like actually loves her. Like, she thinks she's still in love with Rebecca. So there's a lot of insecurity in this book, but I thought this was going to be more scary, or, you know, a little bit more haunting, which it wasn't. It was kind of like haunting that you cause yourself than actual paranormal haunting going on. There was a plot twist that I did not see coming that I enjoyed, but I just think overall I wanted it to be a little bit more spooky, a little bit more haunting. I didn't dislike it. I just think that if I were going to recommend like a gothic horror for this season, like a classic, I would definitely recommend Dracula or Frankenstein over Rebecca. And they're so different, obviously. This one, you know, deals a lot with the insecurities of a woman, marriage, but it just wasn't as spooky as I wanted it to be. I ended up giving it a 2.75. I don't think it's going to be a book that I completely like forget about. Like, I'm glad that I read it because I've been curious about it, and it has been recommended to me that I like should read Rebecca. So I did it. I'm glad. And like I said, it's not like it was a bad book or like terribly boring. Like, I enjoyed listening to it and I liked the end, but just wasn't my favorite for this like season. Like, it wasn't my favorite gothic classic. I've continued to read Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I've actually started reading this out loud to my daughter, and there are actually some spooky things in this book. Like, look at this illustration. Kind of spooky. I'm really enjoying it. I want to know what's going to happen to Coraline. And it's so easy to read. I love just how easy it is. And I plan to read more of this later. I don't want to talk about the plot just yet because it's such a short book, but I am enjoying what's happening, and I'm really curious to see where it's gonna go from here, what's gonna happen to her. The next and final book I'm gonna read in this reading vlog is Frankenstein. This is a reread. I read this in 2023. I already know that I love this story, and I just see myself rereading this throughout the years. I really want another cover. Like, I want to have, it's stupid, but I would kind of like to have a different edition of Frankenstein for each time that I've read it. I think that would be kind of cool. I do want to read this physically, but I just been really busy, and I think I'm going to start by listening to it, especially for the letters, because there are like 20 some pages of just letters before you get to chapter 1, and I don't want to skip them. But yeah, it's like 22 pages in this edition before you get to chapter 1. So I'm gonna for sure listen to that. I have a lot of cooking to do, and I'm also going to bake some cookies. You know, hopefully they turn out good. But I do want to start listening to this. I think I'm gonna put it on like my speaker and just kind of have it on in the kitchen. I'm really looking forward to rereading this. I really like the story of Frankenstein, and I feel like I might get something new from it every time I read it, or notice something, you know, each time I read it. While I was finishing Rebecca, I did start working on my reading journal. I set up my November spread, which I'm not going to show because it will be featured in my next reading vlog. But you can see I started October, or I still need, like, I still have ratings to do in here, but I miss having a physical reading journal because I worked on my reading journal digitally for quite a while, and then I would just print it out. But I don't like that. I miss having like stuff to stick on here and kind of doing collage and some stickers. I miss like the tactile-ness of a reading journal, and I really like looking back at like my first reading journal that I made. So I'm going to work on my reading journal more in my reading vlogs, so that's exciting. I'm excited about that. But my November setup will be in my next reading vlog. But yeah, let's listen to Frankenstein for a little while, and then later I'm gonna read more of Coraline.
Singular man. It was not splintered by the shock, but entirely reduced to thin ribbons of wood.
November 1st, and I did finish all of my October books yesterday on Halloween. I was a little bit rushed at the end, but I did finish them. I finished Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I gave it 5 stars. I liked it a lot. I was really interested the whole time to see what was going to happen to Coraline. And I also just loved the time I had reading this book. I read a lot of it out loud to my daughter, and then when she was asleep, I just read it without an audiobook, which is a slower process, but I kind of just enjoyed like slowing down with this book, because reading out loud, it's a lot slower than, for me, than reading in my head, and for sure a lot slower than listening to an audiobook and reading. So I really enjoyed it. I'm glad to have this copy in my collection. And I think I said earlier in this vlog, I think, that I'm trying to write down, yes, like the date that I finished it, my star rating, and then like what I was doing while I was reading this book. And then I would also like, if I go to a bookstore and buy a book, I would also like to write like where I bought that book, but there are like no bookstores here, so that is something that I've thought about, like just writing more within the book. And then I did also read Frankenstein and enjoyed my time reading most of this book. I feel like at the end I was kind of rushed to like finish it, but I enjoyed just having it on in my kitchen while I was cooking, and then I was journaling and listening to it. I was able to read some of it physically, but not for very long. I just didn't get to physically read a lot this reading vlog. I listened to most of this book and Rebecca, and well, I guess I did physically read this one, but this is a shorter book. But yeah, I love Frankenstein. I really want to see the movie. I think it's going to be on Netflix November 7th, so really soon. And I still feel kind of disappointed that I didn't get to physically read the whole thing. Like, that was kind of my goal this year, but maybe next year. If I do a reread next year, like, I want to see all the words. But I enjoy listening to it a lot. And I think something that stood out to me this time reading it is just how like obsessive Frankenstein was when he was creating the monster. Like, I'm sure that stood out to me last time I read it, but this time it was like, man, he's very like obsessed with this, and how probably gruesome and gross that process was. I can't wait to see the movie, and I'm glad that I finished all of my books for October. I'm planning to do my October wrap-up tonight. I was writing down the summary in my little review a little while ago for all of the books, and I'm excited to talk about them. I have my November books picked out, and I'm trying to decide which 3 I'm going to choose for my first vlog, which will start today because it's November 1st and I want to start a book, but I'm still trying to decide how I want to group them. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this reading vlog. If you don't know what to comment below, you can comment the jack-o'-lantern emoji for Halloween, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.